This is Varsity. I'm Mike Sherman. He's Ryan Aber, and we're talking about the start of two-a-day football practices across the state in Oklahoma and heat. Ryan, this is a perennial topic. It's always hot in August. How are coaches coping with it now? Anything new?
I think the biggest thing is just starting earlier. I think coaches are more apt to make changes to their schedule to adapt to the heat. I talked to a couple coaches who are starting even before 7 o'clock in the morning Tuesday, and some coaches that are also going later in the evening to try to get away from that midday heat. And I think the biggest change is just coaches being more open to make those switches to accommodate for the heat. But this year isn't even as bad as it was last year, as bad as it's been this year. It's supposed to be 105 tomorrow, which is just going to be brutal. But it's just an issue we face every year, it seems like. The
feats of strength, the tests of manhood, those are two-a-days of another time. Seems like now what you've got a lot of limitations on hitting and pads this early on. Whatever happened to the Oklahoma drill? Are they still doing that kind of stuff at two-a-days? How has what they practice during two-a-days changed?
I think it's changed a little bit because, one, you take away the pads the first 3 days. They don't have pads the first 3 days of practice. Lets them get in a little bit conditioning workouts before you start the actual football drills. Now, another big difference, though, is that these teams are working out a whole lot more during the summer. They're doing 7-on-7s, they're doing team camps, things like this where you don't have as much football to implement once you start practice, so coaches can be a little bit more, they can space things out a little bit more as they work their teams into shape.
And the calendar, two-a-days, school starting here in Oklahoma City, those schools have already started, and so, or will have already started by the time this goes, so they're having to go in the heat of the day, right?
Yeah, Oklahoma City schools started on August 1st, so they've been in a full week already, which is just unbelievable. So the problem with that is especially without the in-school athletics, their practices are slated right in the heat of the day at about 2:30, and that's tough for them. You hope that conditioning really pays off and keeps everybody safe, because it's at a level where if you're not safe about it, you don't take precautions, it could be dangerous.
Thanks, Ryan. That's all for this edition of Varsity, but you can stay with the best coverage team anywhere. Every day at noon is okay, and every morning in the Oklahoman.